I stood at the back of the grand hall, my heart pounding in my chest as I watched my sister Tami walk down the aisle. She was glowing, her white dress shimmering under the bright lights, and her smile. It was the smile of a woman who had won the battle, my battle. The man standing at the altar was mine, or at least he had been, but now, in front of hundreds of people, he was about to marry her. The pain twisted inside me as I clenched my fists, trying to keep my composure. I should have been the one standing there, not her. This was supposed to be our day. I had loved David for years, trusted him with my heart, but now he was giving it away to someone else. No one saw anything wrong with it. Not my family, not his family. The guests cheered, and Temi beamed, her hands clasped in front of her as David kissed her, sealing the deal. I stood there paralyzed, humiliated, betrayed, and utterly alone. It felt like a lifetime of sacrifices had been wasted. Temi had always gotten what she wanted. As children, she'd always taken my things, my toys, my clothes. When I did well in school, it wasn't celebrated. It was a reminder of how much less she felt. "You're the older one, Sade. Act like it," my mother would always say. "Make Temi happy." Her happiness always came first. When David and I started dating, I thought I finally had something of my own, something that couldn't be taken away. We were building a future together, or so I thought. But then, like clockwork, Temi set her eyes on him. She began spending more time around him, acting like she needed his help, slowly drawing him in. Before I knew it, he was lost to her. I begged, I pleaded, I cried, but my parents just told me to let go. "You'll find someone else, Sade," my mother said. "Temi is younger, you can't be selfish." And just like that, everything I thought was mine was stolen. As I left the wedding, a promise formed in my heart. I would never let anyone take anything from me again. What I didn't know was that fate had something else in store for me. 2 days later, my mother called. "Sade, come to the house now. Temi needs you," she ordered. I almost laughed. After everything Temi needed me, I was ready to ignore her. But something inside told me to go, maybe to hear her out or to hear the excuse they had this time. When I arrived, Temi was sitting on the couch, pretending to cry while my parents comforted her. She wasn't sad, though. No, she was throwing a tantrum. "Chuka humiliated me today in front of everyone," she wailed. Chuka. I had heard of him. A billionaire businessman, ruthless, powerful, and cold. What could he have possibly done to make Temi cry like this? "What happened?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "I was just a few minutes late to work, and he shouted at me. Can you believe it? He humiliated me," she sniffed. "I'm Mrs. David now, not some assistant." I sighed. Of course it was something trivial, but I was done with this. "If you can't handle him, maybe you should quit," I said, trying to walk out. "Sade," my mother scolded, "don't talk to your sister like that. Support her." That was it, my last straw. I walked out without saying another word. Temi had taken everything from me, and now my own mother was siding with her. But what happened next was something I never expected. The following day I was sitting in a cafe, trying to clear my mind, when I heard a deep voice. "You must be Temi's sister," he said, his tone smooth and commanding. I looked up to find him, tall, well-dressed, and completely intimidating. Chuka. My heart raced as his sharp eyes seemed to pierce right through me. "I don't know what Temi has told you," I began, crossing my arms, "but I'm not involved in her drama." To my surprise, Chuka smiled. "I don't care about that. I have a proposal for you." "A proposal?" I asked, confused. He leaned in slightly, his gaze intense. "I need a wife, Sade. My father is giving me a deadline. If I don't get married, I lose my position as CEO. I don't have time for love or romance. I need a partner who, like me, has something to prove." My heart skipped a beat. Was he serious? "Why me?" I asked, suspicion creeping into my voice. "Because marrying you will put Temi in her place," Chuka said, his lips curling into a smirk. "It will give you the power you've never had in your family." I stood there, stunned. A fake marriage, just to prove a point? But then, my mind raced back to everything I had lost. My parents, Temi's manipulation, David's betrayal. Maybe it was time to change the game. "I'm listening," I said. That night I couldn't sleep. Chuka's proposal played on a loop in my mind. Marrying him would change everything. No more being ignored. No more being the forgotten daughter. But was it worth it? The next morning, I met Chuka at his office. He sat behind a massive desk, his cold eyes watching me closely. "Have you made your decision?" he asked. I took a deep breath. "I have conditions," I said, my voice steady. He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Go on. First, I want a legally binding contract. If this is a business deal, I need security. Done, he replied without hesitation. Second, I want to keep my independence. I'm not some trophy wife. Agreed, he said, nodding. Third, I hesitated before meeting his gaze. This has to be real, in public. If we do this, we convince everyone, including my family, that this is a real marriage. A slow smile spread across Chuka's face. That's the whole point. 2 days later, the news broke. The media was ablaze with the announcement, Billionaire CEO Chuka Obi to marry Sade Okafor. It was everywhere, newspapers, social media, and TV. The engagement ring he put on my finger was massive, sending a clear message. This was serious. My parents were furious. Sade, what is this nonsense? My father demanded. You're marrying Temi's boss? My mother shrieked in disbelief. This is an embarrassment. I smiled, unfazed. I thought you wanted me to be happy. Well, I am. Temi, of course, was livid. She stormed into my apartment, her face twisted with rage. What game are you playing, Sade? Do you think this makes you better than me? I stood my ground, enjoying the frustration on her face. I don't have to play games, Temi. Some of us get what we deserve without stealing it. Her face twisted in fury and she stormed off. But as the wedding day approached, something unexpected happened. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. Every time Chuka looked at me, every time he touched my hand in public, I felt something stirring inside me. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Was this still just a deal? Or was I starting to fall for him? The wedding day arrived quickly. I stood in front of the mirror, dressed in a breathtaking gown, elegant, understated, and perfect for the new life I was about to begin. Are you ready? Chuka's voice broke my thoughts. I turned to find him standing there, looking impeccable in his tailored suit. Are you? I asked, raising an eyebrow. He smirked. I was born ready. The ceremony was grand, the biggest event of the year. Every powerful figure in Lagos was there, and the media didn't miss a moment. As I walked down the aisle, I felt all eyes on me, but none burned as hot as Temi's. She was in the front row, her smile forced, her eyes burning with fury. Do you, Sade, take Chuka to be your lawfully wedded husband? The officiant asked. I turned to Chuka. His face was unreadable, but there was something in his eyes, something I hadn't noticed before. I do. And just like that, my life changed forever. The kiss that followed was supposed to be for show, but as Chuka leaned in, I felt something shift inside me. It wasn't forced, it wasn't cold, it felt real. The reception was a spectacle, luxury at its finest, but the real drama came when Temi pulled me aside, her voice sharp. What exactly are you trying to prove, Sade? She hissed. I sipped my champagne, savoring the moment. I don't think it. I know it. Temi's face twisted in rage. You're just his contract wife. This will never be real. Her words stung more than I expected. Deep down, I wasn't sure anymore. Was this still just a deal? Or was I falling for Chuka? As I glanced across the room, my new husband was watching me, his eyes full of intensity. Maybe this wasn't just a game after all. Maybe, just maybe, this marriage wasn't fake anymore. Weeks passed, and what started as a contract slowly turned into something neither of us could deny. Chuka, the man I thought was all ice, started showing warmth in the smallest ways, bringing me coffee without asking, defending me at family dinners, brushing hair from my face like it meant something, and me, I started to feel safe, seen, wanted. But one night, as we sat on the balcony of our penthouse, overlooking the city lights, he finally said the words I never expected. This was never supposed to happen, he murmured. I froze. My heart thudded in fear. Was this the part where he ended it? He turned to me, eyes serious, voice softer than I'd ever heard. But somewhere along the line, pretending stopped feeling like pretending. I blinked, tears rushing to my eyes before I could stop them. So what now? I whispered. Chuka reached into his pocket and pulled out a new ring, smaller, simpler, but far more meaningful. Now we make it real, Sade. No contracts, no revenge, just us. I stared at the ring, then at the man who had once been my sister's boss, my fake husband, and now, maybe my forever. For the first time in a long time, I smiled, not out of spite or power or triumph, but out of genuine happiness. Because sometimes when you lose everything, you gain exactly what you never knew you needed.